Yo, what up, though? It's your boy, streetcodernate, and we back at it again. Back in the series where I'm taking y'all through these 7 steps, right? We're going through these 7 steps and we learning how to go through the development process. Basically, when you have an idea in your head, how to take it out of your head and bring it to reality. Over these last, 4 videos, we covered ideation, we covered design, and then we got into the repo, and then we got into the back-end services. Now we about to create a front end, and we're gonna connect that front end to our back end. But before we do that, let's tap into something because we forgot to do something on the last video. So before we even move into that, let's hop over here to this video or to this screen, and let me show y'all what we forgot to do. So if you see this little mark right here, this is the Git mark. This is your version control. It tells you how many changes has happened, or this one right here, how many changes has happened since the last commit. And remember, in the last video, we made our backend and we made a whole bunch of different files and stuff to get our front end fired up. You remember? If not, let's just start it up. So just in case y'all can remember. So let's get our Mongo server running first. We're gonna get that going. Got the Mongo server running, and now we can run over here, npm run dev, cool, and then we got that running. So if we go to localhost now, it's running Insta Scraper right there. My bad. My bad. Let me get this off. There we go. And then you got Insta Scraper. So that's what we got right here. So we made all these changes, and typically after I make my changes and whatnot, I like to go ahead and push it to my database, or not my database. I like to go ahead and push it to my Git repository. I make a commit. I say, okay, cool, this is a version I'm satisfied with. Create this version, then I'm gonna push it up to GitHub. So let's do that before we move on to start making the front end. Just got the back end done. So go ahead, make this commit. So we're gonna do a git status. All right, so we see that we got a new public directory, routes, and a test rest. Let me go into my git ignore. So I'm gonna come here and say dot git ignore, and I'm gonna also add my test rest up in here, test.rest, because I don't need that on my repo. So now if I come back down here and I do a git status again, you'll see that test.rest is not there anymore. Now I can do git add -a, and that adds all of those files, cool. And then I can go git commit -m, finished the backend service, ready for UI. Nope, can't put the exclamation part. All right. So now if I do a git status, you see I'm on branch main and everything's clean. Cool. Now I'm going to push it to my GitHub repository, git push, and I'm going to say GitHub, and I'm going to say the main branch, like these. Cool. So now our code is up to GitHub, and we just made a commit. Dope. So y'all gonna be mad at me, but it's all good. It's my first time around. All right, bet. So in the last couple videos, or in the last video, I told y'all to make this public directory, right? And I said our front end is going to be served through the public directory. Well, I was thinking that we was working in vanilla JS, and it just hit me that I said we was doing MERN applications. So actually, we're not even going to use this public directory. So what we're going to do now, and this was great that we made this version, right? That we made that previous version. So now that if we do anything in the future and I'm like, dang, we messed up, we can come back to this version and we can continue going. So I'm glad we made that version. Now let's do some wild stuff like delete the public directory. Cool. So we're gonna move that to the trash. So now the public directory does not exist. We don't have a front end at all. And so what do we need to do? So I mean, if we go to our application, let's say we refresh the page, it says no such no such file or directory, stats, yada yada. It's trying to find that file. It can't find it on our server. So what we need to do is spin up a React application for our so that we can develop our front end and then get our NodeJS application to serve our React application. So let's connect all of those little bits and pieces right now, and then we gonna start coding up the front end using React and Material UI. Let's get it. Okay, so how are we going to add our React app? So what we're going to do is come to our terminal. Let me get some space right here. What is it? Command B. All right, cool. I'm going to come to the terminal. And in the terminal, what we going to write? Let me stand up. In the terminal, we going to write, let me see where I'm at, pwd, ls. Okay, so I'm at the root directory of my project. And so what I want to do right now is pretty much create a React app inside the root directory of my project and just call it like front end or something. So I'm going to go npx. Npx is like npm, but what it does is it runs the installer for a package if you don't have it. So you don't have to go npm install the package and then run the package. It will actually go to the package in the repository and run it for you without installing it on your system. So right here, I don't have create React app, but I can go npx create React app, create React app, and then now I could call it front end because create React app takes a name. I'm gonna call it front end. I'm just call it front end like that. Bang. So now what this is doing is it's going to go fetch create React app, and it's going to go fetch create React app, then install it, and then create a front end folder, and all my front end React code is going to be there. It's going to take a second, so I'm just going to pause the video and then come back after the shit get done. So yeah, give me a minute. All right, y'all, so we back. The application finished running. And so if you run the same command, what you should see is that it says over here, npm, what is it? npm start, npm run build, or my bad. First, it says success created front end at users streetcoders document / full stack apps / Insta Scrapa / front end. Cool. That's where all of our front end code is at, and it tells us how to run it right here, npm start and all the other stuff. Cool. Let's get going. ls, so I see my front end is right there. You can see it right there. The front end is right there. So I'm going cd into the front end, and he said to run the front end, we have to do npm start. So let's go npm start. Let's see what happens. Boom. Oh, okay. I was like, what the hell? So what up, though? All right. Cool. We got a React app that started. That's dope. Got our React app. Cool. So, but we want this to be able to be served by our backend server. This is cool to have as a development server to develop our code and whatnot, but we need something for our backend server to serve, because remember, like when we go to our backend is still saying this. So what we need to do is this weird thing, but it's cool though. So it's like a React has its own little compiler and whatnot, and it compiles this code while you're developing it in a way that's very efficient for you to develop and compile code, but it's like bad to put out in production. And so when you get ready to finish your code, like building it and whatnot, after developing it, there's a process called build, and you build it for production. And so you're typically building for development. You're doing a development build as you're creating code. You need to make that code make sense to the computer. So you take the code and you compile it. It's really hard to explain it without going deep into it, but you pretty much are writing human code, and the human code is being converted to something that the computer can understand. And so as you're doing that, as you're coding locally and making your website, it's doing it in an efficient way for your development, but it's not secure when you're, let's say, putting your website out on another server. And so when you're putting your website out on another server, that's called the, that's the production server. That's where people can reach it all over the world. And so when you're doing that, you want to do a production build rather than a development build. And so our NodeJS server is going to serve our production build React. And so we're going to be able to develop our React code locally right here on this development server that React or that Create React App gives us. My bad, I'm parched in a mug. All right, I was struggling. All right, so we're gonna be able to develop the application, the front end application, using the front end server that React gives us, but whenever and using like the development build, but at the same time, we can do like a production build and serve our production HTML file as well. So that's gonna sound, I know that sounds hella confusing. I had to do some research to understand this stuff too, but I'm gonna show y'all what I mean. Let's get it. So we can develop our React code right here, but this React app but our front end or our back end has no idea where our React app is. So let's take a look at this React code for a minute. So we're gonna open up this React code. And actually we are at a point where both our codes pretty much work. Actually, no, the back end don't work if you spin it up. So we're not gonna make a commit. I was gonna say, let's make a commit. Okay, let me close out some of these files. I like get distracted for real. So I only usually have like one file open at a time. Okay, so let's see. So we're gonna open up the front end. The front end, what is in the front end? So looking at the front end has the node modules. It has the public folder, source, get ignore, which reminds me, you got to remove the get ignore. So let me open up another terminal, and then let me cd, or let me do a remove. Where we at? Front end or -rf, and we need front end, and it should say .get ignore in the .get directory. Yep, that's cool. All right, bet. Just deleted those ones. Okay, the reason I had to delete those ones is because we already got a Git repository, so we didn't need another one. You see, we already got a .get ignore right there. Cool. So in the front end, we got our node modules, public folder, source, package lock, package, and a readme. We don't even need the readme, so go ahead and remove the readme as well. Remove front end readme. Cool. All right, bet. So that's going to. So now we just got like our just the files that we actually need. And so the package.json is to Node.js. So it helps us keep up with our node modules, which are right there, node modules, and it governs our like overall package, our front end package. Because remember, at the end of the day, this is a React application. It's just inside of a Node.js web server. So it's real cool at the same time, doing two things. So we actually got two different servers going on. There's like 3 servers going on right now. Cause we got a Node or a Mongo server going too. Okay. So that's the node modules and the package.json. Those refer back to npm and all the packages and whatnot. Okay, cool. So now what's the public is, once again, I was explaining it in the backend video. The public is what goes to the actual client. This goes to what gets sent to the front end. And so this is the stuff that you'll be able to see on the front end if you open up like the dev tools. Cool. And then the source is where you're actually writing your React application. So you typically don't touch anything in the public unless you need to do some stuff up in the HTML up in here. Yeah, you typically don't do anything up in there. But where you write your code is in the source. The source is where we write all of our code for. My bad, I keep moving over there. The source is where we write all of our code for the React application. So that's where we're going to write our code as well. But we still got to hook up our backend to this. So our backend, I would naturally think would be served from the public folder, but it doesn't work like that because the React server is like doing some type of compilations that our Node.js server isn't doing, and so we can't have it serve this in index.html because of how React is set up. So what we need to do is create like a production build of this like development code. What happens is they take the public folder and they take the source folder and all the assets and stuff, and they compile it all together for the computer to understand, but in a secure way for production. And then they put a folder under the front end that call it build. So let's try to do that real quick. And then that build folder is the folder that we actually serve from our backend. And any server actually is typically doing it like that as well. Okay, so we're gonna serve the build folder, or we're gonna create a build folder. So pwd, we are in Insta Scraper, so we want to cd into the front end. And we can run npm run build like that. Okay, it's creating the build. Now look over here. You see that build folder just popped up. It's about to be populated with all that stuff. Cool. What is the build folder pretty much populated with? Let's check it out. We got the index.html, which pretty much is just the same HTML file. For real. Like the HTML file from here is the same HTML file from here. So what they did was pretty much take the two file, or take the two they took the static, or they took, my bad, for the build they took the public right here, they took the public, and they also took the source and all the things in the source, and they combined them into one called the build, and created a static folder with some CSS and JavaScript and media, and then also just this root folder where the index.html stuff is at. That's weird to understand as a new programmer, but as you get more into understanding how the web is set up and web architecture and systems and whatnot, this will really make sense. So now that we got a build folder, we're gonna take this build folder and we can connect our backend to this build folder. And so we need to set up a static directory like we did before in our backend. So let's hop to the backend and the server. Man, I'm parched. All right, and our backend is actually inside of, instead of public, where was public at? We just deleted public, so we inside of front end build. That's where our static directory is, front end build. So front end / build. Cool. That's where our static directory is. And then we need to go to where they're serving the index.html file, which is inside of routes, landing, and it's no longer in public, or templates actually. It is inside of front end / build HTML. All right, y'all, let's see if it works. Refresh. There go our React app right there. We built it, we served it on we connected it to the NodeJS application. So now I want to show y'all the difference between a development build and a production build, and because the production build doesn't change, it would take too much time for the production build to change. So the development build is quick. So we got our development build over here. You can't even tell that I clicked two different tabs, but we got one tab right here. Actually, okay, you can see that this one is localhost 3000, and this one is localhost 54321, which is where our server is. Cool. So localhost 3000 is our actual React development server, and localhost 54321. Stop playing with me. Localhost 54321 is our Node.js Express development server that's serving our production build of our React app. Whew, a mouthful. I'm hip. take some time to understand that one. Okay, so there's a difference. Let me show you the difference. So if we make any change, let's say in this React code, I'm not going to explain the React. Y'all just gonna watch along. But let's make a change inside the React code, inside of the app.js right here. Inside the app.js, it says learn React. We see it says learn React. And so if we come over here, you see learn React is right there. And then you also see learn React is right here. And the only reason it looks different is because the other one is like zoomed in. There we go. Cool. They're about the same height now. Cool. So right now, this is the development server. Or this is the production server. And this one is the development server. Cool. So I'm going to put learn React today. Like that. So what's going to happen is you're going to see that the development server updated right away. Like, we ain't have to do anything. But so the development server updated right away. We didn't have to do anything. You see, learn React today. Cool. But the production server, it didn't update. And the reason it didn't update is because we actually have to go and do that build process that when we did the npm run build, every single time we want to make a change for that, because it's going to run a secure build and it's going to set up some things that's real cool and make our stuff efficient. So what we would want to do if we want those changes to populate, we would have to come here again and go npm run build. Well, first let's make sure that we are in our front end directory. Cool. And we can go npm run build of the front end. And it's going to make a build. It's going to build our code now. It's going to take those changes that I just made. And it's going to make a new build folder. And now, if I come over here to the production build and I refresh, you see it like it's right there. Okay, so that's the difference. But we got our React app connected to our front end. So we can develop our React app using a React server, and it's going to be real fast in the development. And then when we get done, we can make a production build connected to the back end, and now I set us up for the testing phase. And then after the testing phase, I'll really just set us up for just pushing it out to the production or pushing it out to a server. So let's get into making this front end application. Let's get it. Let's go. Cool. And you know what? I'm gonna actually hit it on this video because the video already got pretty far. So what we're gonna do is make a commit and then hop into another video on the next one to start designing or developing the actual UI. Cool. So let's get it right here. We're gonna do pwd. So we're gonna cd back into the project directory. Cool. And now we're gonna say git status. Oh no. No. Oh, I deleted the wrong Git repository. Okay. I was supposed to delete the Git repository inside of the fuck. Okay. And I deleted the wrong Git ignore. Wow. Okay. ls. All right. So what I want to do is remove what is it? It's front end /.getIgnore, or it said that's not a file because I need the -rf. Okay, remove that one. Okay, and I got my .getIgnore here. So all I need to do is just reconnect my Git repository. So git, let's see if I do a git remote. Yep, because I don't have one. So gettn, and then I gotta just add the remote again. Git remote, add GitHub. Let's head over to GitHub real quick. And it was Insta Scrapa. Copy that one over. Paste that right there. Cool. So now we can do git add or git status actually. those files look good. So let's add all of those. Git add -a, git commit -m. What we gonna say? Added the React app to the repo. Bet. And that's what we did. My bad, made this so long. I messed around and deleted the wrong Git repository. All right, so now all we gotta do is just like a Git. First we gotta change our branch. So Git branch. Gotta change the main name or the master name to main. Okay, then spell branch right. Cool. And now we can go git push on GitHub main. It might tell me I need to pull. Yeah, git pull GitHub main. Okay, and then git push GitHub main. Oh no. We gon' have to do a dash force. It says because tip of your current branch is behind. So pretty much, yeah, I'm behind because I made a new Git branch. So I'm just gonna force it. How is it like? Force upstream. Force. Git push. Dash force. That's how you do it. Let's try it. Dash force. There we go. Root. There it is. Let's make sure it's on GitHub. And this is what it look like right now. And I'm about to refresh it. And back. There go our front end. It's all connected up. Bet. I'm gonna see y'all in the next video. We're gonna really get into coding up that front end, and it's gonna be dope. I'll see y'all there. Peace. Let's get it. Man, it's always hard to find a mouse at the end. I'll see y'all. Peace.